Day 2. And yeah, let's see how it goes. So day 1 was okay. Not great, not terrible either. Go first. So for some reason, oh, you know what happened? I used the wrong deck. I had a different list for the ladder and I accidentally picked the wrong list. So this isn't tracking properly right now. Okay. I think we Sovereign's Bite. I don't think we hold on to it. And then no attacks. All right, so what can we do now? We can pass and then risk factor. It's probably what's going to happen. Arcane Encyclopedia. Resolve. Fine. Alright, we're going to risk factor now. This is an interesting tech for mono red though, I guess. So we have a ton of Wizard's Lightning. Do we want to discard the Dragon Skull Summit for another risk factor? I think we do. Because we don't play any 4-mana cards anyway, so... do we not block here? I think we don't block. Risk factor. Discard Dragon Skull Summit. If they take the damage, we'll have lethal. Okay. They might burn this lava. Yeah, they do. So, I don't think they can kill us next turn, so I think we should be okay. Okay. Well, that was pretty simple, but who knows? I mean, these games are kind of hit or miss sometimes. So I gotta remember to pick the Rakdos ladder deck here. Okay, this is not great. We're facing another mono red deck, I think. Could be, is it? Probably not. I think they have a shock in hand. Yeah. You can tell because of the way it didn't auto pass the turn. So we're in this weird spot where we haven't seen any black lands or cards. Here's one. We're gonna do this so we can play out our second electrostatic field and then pass. This isn't super awesome because we have 5 lands here, but we'll take it. Now we're just basically in top deck mode now. And what are they doing that they're discarding stuff? Okay, so they're stuck on lands. We have to assume they have another Experimental Frenzy in hand. Or, I don't know. Or they just don't think that they can get to 4 lands at all. Runaway Steamkin, fine. We're gonna pass the turn now. The one issue is we don't have any offensive pressure. Like, we don't have a creature we can be attacking with. So it's a little bit awkward. Like, we could still easily lose this. Alright, Banefire is okay, I guess. The question is, do we care enough to shock it? Okay, I think we do shock it. Because what they're gonna do is they're gonna sack the Firebrand to kill the, one of the fields. Well, we are on the Banefire plan. I don't know. This we still need to draw a bunch of lands, so hopefully we draw some more action. Alright, well this is okay. So they might not give us the... I don't know exactly what they're gonna do. They'll probably give us Lightning Strike. They might give us all 3, or they might exile Risk Factor, I think. But then we have a 5 damage Banefire that they don't know about, so we'll see what happens. Okay, so they give us this guy, which means we'll have lethal. But we'll have lethal anyways if they exile this. Okay, so let's do this. Let's put a stop and then end a turn Lightning Strike. I mean, I don't think there's a way we lose this. Four, 5, 6. Nobody expects the Banefire. It's insane. still, this is super early on in the ladder, so we don't really know if our success is just because we're super low in the ladder still, or if... Because I don't think this deck is actually super great. I think it's okay, but I think the better bet to climb at least the bottom half of the ladder is probably just mono red aggro. So it looks like they have a shock or something because they're not auto-passing. Yeah, that's like the telltale sign that they're holding a shock, is if you attack and then they only have 1 mana up and they're not auto-passing. Okay, so this is a pretty clear shock. Although maybe I should have held the shock, honestly. Maybe I should have held the shock, actually. They might have done something unoptimal to try to grow this. Okay, 2 firebrands means that they could take out the electrostatic field with the shock. I mean, they have to spend 3. Okay, so here's what we're going to do. We're going to go to combat. Gonna attack. I think we lightning strike one of their firebrands so they can't shock to kill our electrostatic field. Is that worth it? They could... if they have a lightning strike, they could use the lightning strike. I don't know. Honestly, I don't know. I don't think it's worth it. But let's risk factor now to get an extra point of damage in, maybe. I don't know if that's the right play. So they don't even bother with the electrostatic field. They're just on an attack plan. Okay, so they only have 1 land, right? Which means if they have another Wizard's Lightning, fine. Alright. Let's end the turn. We're gonna risk factor. See, the problem is I kind of want this swamp, though. I think the swamp is kind of important for us. So I might just lightning strike their face right now. So at this point, we will play out our second electrostatic field and pass the turn. I think we'll have lethal because this will deal 4. Actually, no, well, no, we don't really have lethal yet, but let's just do this now. Because they're going to sack a firebrand to kill it. We want the extra point of damage anyway. Alright, we don't even have the risk factor. I think how far we can climb in the ladder will depend pretty heavily on what meta decks we end up facing, because Golgari isn't a great matchup for us. There's too many lands. But that also means the chances of us drawing more lands is... I'm going to keep. This is a greedy keep, but I'm going to do it. I think it's kind of a dumb keep, but we have a burn spell, just, I don't know. We'll see, we'll see. The fact that we've drawn 5 lands means that our likelihood of drawing more lands is slimmer. But yeah, so I think our mono red aggro matchup is okay. I'm not sure how our... Like, I don't think I've played enough of this deck to really figure out how good our matchups against the 3-color decks are, but I think with Jeskai, from what I've played, sometimes what we can do is we can deal enough early damage and then end it with the Banefire, because I've played some best of 1 competitive queues with this deck, and the Banefires are definitely good for decks that, you know, are pretty slow and don't play out their threats until like turn 5 or something. I think against mono white aggro we do okay. The white red versions that play heroic reinforcements, those do tend to run us over, I think. Did I mention Golgari was a bad matchup for us? I might have. They just conceded. Okay. Well, I was gonna say, with Selesnya, I don't know if it's 50-50, but anything with life gain is troublesome for us. Selesnya plays... What's that thing? Well, Imara, March of the Multitude sometimes. They play Legion's Landing. That can be troublesome. Adanto Vanguard is usually not that big of a deal, honestly, because they can't really afford to pay for life too many times. This is a pretty good hand. And we're on the play. So we actually do want to be on the play with this deck. I know a lot of decks want to be on the draw first, but we want to have a turn 1 play. So we need a land. It would be good to have another land. We're shocking this now. It's a life gain card very soon, and we can't afford to have our opponent be gaining life. Okay, great. Let's sword point now. Let's get aggressive. I think it's always good to sword point early, just because that way you still have a bunch of cards in your hand, so your opponent can still be taken by surprise because they don't know what else you have in your hand. I'm assuming they're going to exile the electrostatic field and give us the other land. And I guess we get aggressive and attack. Yeah, why not? So they didn't block, which is interesting because Against an aggro deck, you usually don't want to get your life total too low, but if they have something to convoke out, then maybe... Or that. That gets in some decent damage. That's going to have to get hit with a Wizard's Lightning. Or a Lightning Strike. We can Wizard's Lightning this. We can Lava Runner. Swing in for 4. And then Pyromancer. And then we just gotta keep our fingers crossed that the top deck gods favor us. Because they still have 4 cards in hand. They could do a lot of stuff. They have a 1 mana spell in their hand, it looks like. Right? I don't know, it's kind of hard because like these... Or a Conclave Tribunal, alright. They didn't take our Pyromancer. They took a Lava Runner. Okay, so they're open for attacking. So this is an interesting dilemma for the opponent. They're obviously going to give us the lands, but the shock is the question. Okay, so let's attack. We shouldn't have played that land. Optimally, we should have waited until after attacks to play the land. I mean, it doesn't matter in this case because our opponent is tapped out of everything. So we can just fire this off now. It doesn't really matter. Okay. Howling Golem. Kind of a weird limited card. Alright, so we're gonna turn 1 Cinder Barons. Because we can't really do anything else. We need... Oh, interesting. We're gonna Pyromancer here, and if they want to trade their Vampire for this guy, we'll do it. Okay, so they just want Legions landing out as fast as possible. Which is unfortunate because I don't want to... We're going to have to shock this guy. And then pass. This, honestly, this isn't great for us, but we don't want them to have Legions landing. So I just kind of had to, I think I had to do that. Alright, well, I still only have 1 land. I mean, we can't really put them off. Legions landing for much longer. This is really troublesome for me. They're gonna get to flip Legions landing. I think we just gotta say, alright, you get your Legions landing. Okay. I don't think we win this. Even them swinging once with like these life linkers is really bad. And then we also just straight up don't have the third land. I can't really do anything. I mean, I think we just lose. I don't even think. Like, this deck does not come from behind very well. The only thing it can really do is, like, Banefire you for 5, basically. But yeah, Selesnya is pretty tricky for us because they have life linkers. This is kind of a slow hand, and we're on the draw as well. Our opponent mulligan, though. And they scry to the bottom. Interesting. So, what are they playing? So the opponent has some sort of instant. Did it? It kind of looked like they, I'm just... Did they have a counterspell? It seemed like they had a counterspell. I'm gonna lightning strike their face. I don't know what's going on. Alright, we're gonna lightning strike their face again. Get an extra point of damage in with the lava runner. Are they gonna counter this? Because it's for sure they have a sinister sabotage. Or a syncopate. Okay. I'm assuming they have another counterspell in their hand though. And I'm assuming, or a Teferi comes out now. The syncopate exiles, which is also pretty annoying. Seal away. So the question is, I don't know if they have another counterspell. They might. So I didn't want to play Sword Point Diplomacy because we need that to land. Hopefully we get a land so that we could throw something out and then Sword Point Diplomacy. So at this point, I think we go for a Pyromancer and then Electrostatic Field. So it looks like they don't have another counter, right? I mean, they could have drawn... I mean, they could have an Essence Scatter, but it's unlikely. Right? It's usually Sinister Sabotage and Syncopate. Those are like the two. They could have a board wipe, actually, so this is not completely safe. Cleansing Nova gets played. That's interesting. What? For Chemister's Insight? Wait. Did they do that just to surveil? I think they did that because they wanted to surveil more than anything. Right? I mean, that wasn't the greatest mission briefing, but now we know this card exists. They could use it to get back a counterspell. We're going to sword point now while they're basically tapped out. So this is interesting, right? They see the Banefire. They know they can't counter the Banefire soon. So do they take the 3 damage? And do they also give us risk factor or not? So this is a tough choice for the opponent. I think they just gave up. Right? Yeah, okay. See, the interesting thing about this deck is that it's actually okay against like 3-color control decks that don't really do anything until turn 5. Especially the Jeskai versions, like some of the weird stuff like Sultai and stuff. They have some creatures they can put out in the early game. We're gonna keep this. I'm not sure this is... But anyway, yeah. Because with those types of decks, we can usually hold our burn until the end of their turn. And if they want to counter it, we have a free play during our turn. Alright, we are going to attack. And then let's just shock this guy. I think we risk factor now so that we get an extra point of damage in with our lava runner. I could see the argument for holding risk factor until the end of their turn, just so they're sort of surprised by it. Because knowing we have a risk factor could alter what they play on their turn. Alright, so I think the plan now is everything goes to their face. Because we can't get through the Brontodon. I don't think we want to spend 2 cards to take out the Brontodon. Ravenous Chupacabra. Yeah, everything to the face now. So the question is, do we Lightning Strike now? Because they could have a Wild Growth Walker, in which case we don't. We're gonna pass. So we'll Lightning Strike a Wild Growth Walker. If it's anything else, we'll risk factor, discard the mountain. It makes Banefire a little bit awkward, but play an elf. So the problem there is that now we can't risk factor at all. So, yeah. We're not going to risk factor away the Banefire, I don't think. We might lose this because we're at 12 life. This isn't great. Okay, now they can get back their Wild Growth Walker and play it on the same turn, which is super strong. With Banefire, we can do 4 damage. But with Risk Factor, they'll probably take the 4 damage. So that's not great for us either. I mean, we're gonna have to try for it. Actually, no. We risk factor. They take 4. If we don't... do we just die, though? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. We take 7 damage. This is not good, though. We're going to have to Banefire an elf just not to die. Like, it doesn't matter what they give us. We're probably going to have to Banefire one of the elves. I don't know. This is kind of a bad situation because the friggin' Wild Growth Walker. And then their Brontodon meant we couldn't attack for a couple of turns. So we can't play risk factor anyway, right? So let's do this. Let's do this. And then pass the turn. So now we hold Banefire. Okay, so it could have been worse, but probably not that much worse because they have an explore creature. So we have to figure out if we can win next turn. Five, no blocks. That deals 2 damage, right? That deals 2 damage. And we need 6. I still think we're stuck on the same situation where I think we have to, well, the thing is we're just dead next turn, so. I think we're just dead. I don't think we can do enough damage. Yeah. We're just dead. That was close. The problem with the Golgari deck is that they have card advantage over us because they can get stuff back from their graveyard. So, and in their case, you know, getting back a Wild Growth Walker is sometimes too much for us. I think if we had drawn another land a little bit sooner, we could have done a bit better. Because it would have allowed us to play two spells a turn quicker. They could be playing the same deck we're playing, because there are mid-range Rakdos decks, but... Okay. This could be the mid-range Rakdos deck. Really interested to see what the opponent's got here. Moment of Craving. That's terrible for us. Legion Warboss. Also terrible for us because we don't have an electrostatic field out. Guess we Sword Point Diplomacy now. Hopefully hit a land. Land, shock the Legion Warboss. They might not give us the land though. That's the thing. They might take the damage to prevent us from taking a land. Okay, so they gave us the land. They exiled the barrier. I think that's to be expected. Ah, oh, damn it, we passed the combat. Oh, I forgot. Shoot. That might lose us the game, honestly. I mean, it's super slim margins here. So the plan now is to risk factor end of turn. Full control. Full control. Okay, this time we know better. This time we're gonna full control it. So from our perspective, we have 2 Wizard's Lightnings, which with a shock is actually lethal. I mean, obviously they don't know that, but alright, nice. That was pretty close. If they had a Vraska's Contempt, we would have had to wait another turn. But they didn't, because they could have contempted one of their own guys. Okay, so where... Silver tier 1? Okay. I think until you hit gold, you don't drop any rank for losing games. And I think once you hit gold, don't quote me on this, but you can only drop within your tier and not out of your tier completely. Yeah. Okay, I don't know what happened there. Our opponent just decided to give us the win. Very random. Oh, wow. So they're gonna get to... Alright, this is gonna be interesting here. We kind of want the electrostatic field out now, but we also don't want... the Vanguard to continue to... So they're gonna sack their bodyguard, probably. No attacks. Yeah, this deck has problem against lifelink things. Sorry. Yeah, lifelink and then any type of gaining life things. So we are probably gonna lose this game at this point. Like, I think we just have to Wizard's Lightning the Vanguard. I might just concede if it looks like we're gonna continue to be on the back foot. I mean, the opponent maybe is stuck on 2 lands right now, but we can't fight through all these life linking guys. Like, if the Pride Mate turns into a 4/4, we really... I guess priority number 1 right now is Healer's Hawk. We'll just let the Hunted Witnesses attack for free. Oh, well, actually we can block one of them for free. So I think right now we'll have to run a Lava Runner into the Pride Mate. Assuming they even attack with the, they don't even attack with the Pride Mate. It's kind of bad for us. Because we don't want to have to lightning strike the Healer's Hawk. That seems like a very bad use of our mana. But we also don't want a 5/5 Pride Mate. Although maybe it doesn't matter for now. I don't know if this is the right play. Because we should have blocked the Vanguard. I didn't realize. Once this history goes off, we're probably dead. Okay, now we're definitely in huge trouble. It's interesting they attacked with one of their knights. They might have a pump spell. They did not have a pump spell. We're gonna have to do something silly and Banefire for 1. I don't think we can come back from this, but... Oh, so they had another history. That explains why. He's already good gaming me. I mean, I'm sure he's gonna win, but... It's kind of a... To blockers. 1 blocker. 2 blocker. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. We'll take 6 damage, which is okay. Let's do this. So, to damage. We want them to Vanguard first. And then we want to ping the Vanguard. I don't think this helps us win, but it's at least kind of a funny move. Like, I don't think that's enough to give us the W. Yeah, it's not. So I don't know if this was a proper keep, but seeing how our opponent mulliganed to 5, maybe. I want to put some creature pressure on the board, but at the same time, I don't know if that was the right move. Maybe it would have been better to do this. That way we would have had an attacker next turn. Although this thing has hexproof, so. So we can Sovereign Spite and Firebrand. Great, of course they have a history of Benalia. And we don't even have any burn right now. Aurelia. I don't think we can beat an Aurelia. We'll just double block this. Oh, wait a minute. Wait a minute. Oh, I thought only one of them would die. I mean, I don't think we can beat the Aurelia anyways. Could have maybe tried to Banefire plus Fanatical Firebrand. That might have done it. I think I just played that wrong completely. Yeah, this is game over. I think we might have been able to do a little better, but I think we probably would have lost anyways, even if I didn't make that mistake of double blocking. I just, for whatever reason, I thought after the first strike damage, it would have, the second one would have taken it out. Opponent goes first. We have no good burn. We only have Firebrands, but we do have the sword point. If this comes into play tapped, if this is straight Golgari, we might lose because we need a lightning strike, Wizard's Lightning, for their presumed Wild Growth Walker that they're gonna have at some point. So they bin this. We did this just because we want to turn 3 sword point. Or do we want a electrostatic field now? I don't think we do. It'll be interesting to see what they give us. They'll give us the land, which is good because we need another land so we can play 2 spells a turn. have 2 Sovereign's Bites, which means we could let these guys attack for a little bit longer. He actually didn't give us the land. That's interesting. That's pretty smart. Vraska's Contempt. So if I play Electrostatic Field, it's probably going to get hit with the Vraska's Contempt, which is very unfortunate for us. Okay, well, we drew another land. So at this point, honestly, we just have to play it out. It's going to get hit with the Vraska's Contempt anyway. So it's the best we can do, right? Because he's going to hold the Vraska's Contempt up. He's not ever going to contempt the Firebrand. We don't really have any creatures other than this guy. Chupacabra. Yeah, this deck isn't great against Golgari. Sometimes you can beat it, honestly, just by being faster, but now they still have Vraska's Contempt, which they can use to take out my Pyromancer. So here's the thing, they know about our Banefire. So they have to contempt something, or else they're dead next turn, because we can Banefire plus Fanatical Firebrand. So we know they have to play the contempt. Okay. So at this point we have to block something. Right, so I don't think we can win. Yeah, well, we couldn't have won anyways, but like even with the even drawing another land off the Banefire, we would have been a little bit short. So we started off doing pretty decently, and then sort of I think we lost what, 3 in a row or something like that. Well, this is not good. If we keep and we draw a card, sorry, we draw a land in the next 2 hands, it's not the worst keep. I mean, so here's what I'm thinking. We can't drop in rank anyway, so I think it's worth doing a risky keep. And if we get punished for it, we'll just concede. Because we can't drop in rank anyway right now. I mean, this isn't the worst thing in the world. We're going to have to keep them off Legion's Landing, but at least they can't profitably attack right now. I'm going to pass the turn. Probably going to shock their lifelinker. If we draw land, we'll Sword Point. If we don't, we'll Sovereign's Bite. Actually, no, this changes things. We're going to Electrostatic Field. Okay, great. So, fortunately, We have Shock and Lightning Strike. Because in any other scenario, we would have just had to concede right there, pretty much. Of course, if they have another Lyra, I think we're just screwed. Okay, so here's the problem. We can't Sword Point Diplomacy and do something else. So do we Electrostatic Field now? Or do we Sword Point Diplomacy now? I think we Sword Point Diplomacy now, hope to hit a land. Or 3 lands. That also works. Because getting a land would mean we get to play 2 spells next turn. Or a spell in a field. If they don't have March of the Multitudes, or actually if they do have March of the Multitudes, I think that's okay, because these guys don't even have lifelink if they come down as angel creatures. And we don't care about these things right now because we can burn them out. This is so funny. We somehow beat a Lyra just because we had Shock plus Lightning Strike. Okay, see, we don't even care about this right now. We can just win next turn. This was one of those improbable victories where we had a very, very, very good draw. Of course, they had a pretty good draw too. I mean, they had Legion's Landing, turn 1. They had a Lyra. They had Divine Visitation plus Trostani Discordant. I'm still a little bit confused about how the ladder scoring works. Opponent goes first. We have a... Okay, yeah, we're gonna keep. Our opponent mulliganed. And our opponent's taking a lot of time to decide. The scry. Okay, so well, our opponent's definitely not going to be stuck on land. We can Wizard's Lightning something if we need to. It'll be kind of bad for us because, you know, the early stuff we want to use a shock on and save Wizard's Lightning for later, but we don't have a shock obviously, and so our opponent does have a play. Otherwise they wouldn't be stuck in their main phase. What are they thinking though? Some of these decks play Imara. That could come out. Could be, oh. Well. I don't think we want to show them the mountain yet. I think we shock one of these things. Honestly, I'm not sure. I don't know. Actually, this is kind of risky. I don't know if that was the best move. I just didn't want them to convoke something. Because this deck could be playing Divine Visitation. Could be playing the Loxodon that convokes. Could be playing March of the Multitudes, Amara. Wait, we gotta just do this now. So I think the question now is, do we risk factor or do we Pyromancer? I think we Pyromancer now. History of Benelia, okay. So we need to keep Legion's Landing from flipping. Right now we don't have the ability to do that. We got a Firebrand. Flourish. Creatures you can go get +2/+2. Do we play the field out now or do we risk factor? I think we're gonna attack. I don't know if it was right to do that instead of risk factoring at the end of their turn, but we'll see. Alright. Darn. So we cannot take out their, this is not good for us. They could just win. And they get to transform Legion's Landing too. I mean, I think their lifelink is probably going to win them the game. Because at this point, it doesn't even... They can take the risk factor and it doesn't really hurt them at all. They can keep making life-linking tokens. Which I don't think we can even get through. Yeah, I don't think we can win this. I don't think there's a combination of spells that allows us to get through this. This could be Drake's. Could be Jeskai. It's probably Drake's. Yeah, this is Drake's. So because we play Banefires instead of Lava Coils, it's just about racing. This deck, their deck also, most of the variations play Lava Coil, so it's not like our electrostatic field is safe. Well, we'll have to see how this goes. The Drake's matchup is not amazing. This deck has, the Rakdos Burn has a lot of bad matchups on the ladder, I think. But it's fun to play. I like playing it because I just like surprise Banefiring people. Enigma Drake is also trouble for us because we can't really profitably get through that. I mean, the only thing we can do right now is like Lightning Strike and Fanatical Firebrand. And that costs us basically 2 cards to do that, which is not great. We're on the back foot because we're aggro. We have basically no hand anymore. I think the only thing that can save us is Sword Point Diplomacy. With risk factor, they'll probably take the damage, so I don't even think it's enough. They don't have any Phoenixes yet, or now they do. Great. I mean, that's not exactly what we wanted, but I think they're just too far ahead on cards right now. Like, all they need to do is land one more threat. Or an Electromancer that also is tricky for us to get through. We have a Wizard's Lightning. Do we Wizard's Lightning their face? Because we'll do 4. And then depending on what we top deck. So Crackling Drake. I think at this point we just have to say to the face. And if you can do something, then I don't know what could we have? We can't really draw anything to get out of this. Like, I actually don't think. The only thing that gets us out of this is if for some reason they can't deal enough damage to... But... Because they have 9, right? Next turn they'll have... They can double Radical Idea next turn. Probably means they could cast 1 or 2 more other spells. We don't have lethal with Banefire. Because with Banefire we can only deal 4. I mean, we have to Banefire the Drake and then just hope that somehow we have a miracle Sword Point Diplomacy draw. Or, I guess they probably... Oh, wait, we need to block. I almost forgot to block. The risk factor, they'll probably take the damage. Okay, we need a miracle Sword Point Diplomacy now. Them taking out our electrostatic field hurts as well. So we got the terrible sword point diplomacy draw. All 3 lands. And then we had to use the Banefire on the Drake, so we couldn't even... And there's nothing else we could do. The only thing saving us right now is that they don't have another... They didn't have another Drake, but they could hardcast another Phoenix. Another burn spell would kill us with these 2 guys on board. They dropped the Drake. Interesting. I mean, the only thing that saves us is another Banefire or sword point diplomacy. And the sword point diplomacy has to get us some good stuff. It basically has to be 3 burn spells. Alright, well that's not going to do it. So we were cruising pretty fast, and then when we got to silver tier 1, we've sort of been in a rut where I think we've got 1 and 4 or something. I don't remember exactly. So for here, it's gonna hurt, but I think we have the Cinder Barons first. That prevents us from being able to shock, but we really need 2 untapped lands for turn 2. Opponent did mulligan. I'm also not sure my deck list is the optimal one. This is probably mono blue aggro. Oh no, it's not. Is it Drake's again? So we have risk factor and sword point diplomacy. Hopefully, hopefully we can. Let's attack first. Wait, are they gonna play an instant here? They are. Oh, it's only a radical idea. I thought they were gonna play a shock or something into my pyromancer. I might want to shock end of turn no matter what. So I'm going to put a stop here. They're going to hardcast an Arclight Phoenix. They're going to attack with it. Interesting. Do we care? I don't think we care. I think we just let it happen. Alright, we're gonna put a stop. And we're gonna risk factor plus Wizard's Lightning. Or risk factor plus Lightning Strike, depending on if they get rid of the Pyromancer or not. I think we're okay with this Phoenix sticking out, though. I don't think we care. Like, why did they keep attacking with the Phoenix, though? It's really... I'm kind of confused. Alright, if they Lava Coil, we're going to Wizard's Lightning now. If they give us the cards and they have a negate, we don't win next turn. Okay, so I think here we can just Banefire for 5. I mean, I don't think they're playing negate because this deck doesn't really play negate, but it doesn't really matter. And it's always fun to Banefire people for 5. They can't prevent it. Okay, so we ended... I'm tempted to end there because we got our pack for winning 10 games during the week, and but yeah, this is gonna be my last game no matter what happens. Hopefully we can end it on a win. We're gonna keep. I'm not sure this is a great keep because we have no creatures. Like, all this stuff we're doing is just gonna be reactive. And if we don't draw a swamp land, then we can't Sword Point Diplomacy. That really messes us up. Luckily, we got the electrostatic field, though. Okay, so this is Golgari. Sadly, we can't take out Druid of the Cowl because we don't have enough lands. Karn.
I will defend my allies. Good choice.
Alright. I mean, this isn't great. This deck's also weak against Planeswalkers, and we never drew our third land, which means Karn is pretty much unkillable. We don't want to have to spend like 2 things to take it out. What is Karn's ultimate? Doesn't have an ultimate. We should have done that on their turn. Forgot. That might have caused them to play out a different line. That was actually a really bad move by me.
Every fight, meet my newest friend.
I think we're just dead very soon anyway. Also, we don't want Vivian we don't want Vivian to go ultimate. So at some point we might have to point a Wizard's Lightning at Vivian. If we even draw lands to be able to do that.
Are you certain of your decision?
Next turn he can minus Karn to get the Wild Growth Walker back, so we're just gonna concede now. Because there's no coming back from this. We're gonna play one more game because that one went super quickly. And then I might have to reevaluate whether or not I can keep playing Rakdos Burn on the ladder if we keep running into bad matchups. Because in the constructed best of 1 queue, I was actually doing, okay with this deck. Let's see, we don't have a turn 1 play, so let's Cinder Barons. This might be mono blue. No. Just kidding. Demir? What is this? Interesting. Well, my sword point diplomacy is not surviving that. There's no way they let us have that. They could maybe take lightning strike. Yeah. Well, funnily enough, we drew another one. Here's the thing. You know what? I should have played Sovereign's Bite. And then attack with the Lava Runner, too. I forgot to, though. That cost me 2 damage. They'd probably give us a land, and then the Pyromancer, they probably don't let us have Electrostatic Field. It also depends on what they have in their hand. Like if they have a Ritual of Soot, they might take a different line here. They let us have everything. They could have a removal spell here. Yeah. Not playing Lava Runner in the right order might cost us the game here. How much do we want to commit? Is the question. This might get countered. We're gonna hold back our Lava Runner, I think. I'm just afraid of Ritual of Soot here. I mean, what we might do end of their turn is throw out like a shock. This might get countered, which is not the worst thing in the world. It does not get countered. Can they play anything? Let's swing for 6. I don't know exactly what this deck is. Vraska's Contempt. This is maybe not the best thing to do. It depends. If they wipe the board, we don't have lethal. But if we didn't play this, next turn if they played something and we can't attack into it, like if they played a creature and a removal spell, then we wouldn't have... I don't know. I don't think that was the right play to play out the Pyromancer. I'm not sure. I mean, maybe they had a counterspell for this. I don't know. Well, darn it. I mean, they still need to do something else. Otherwise, we have lethal. Well, they're all tapped out, so they can't counter that. It's another Banefire win. You know what? Screw that. I'm gonna play one more game. can't keep this, can we? We can be super greedy and keep it. We're going to be super greedy and keep it. Yeah. It's silly, I know, but our opponent... Okay. Our opponent did not have a turn 1 play with the plains, so that's actually interesting. Oh hey, we drew a second land. So some versions of this deck do play the instant that gives all creatures +1/+1. But if they want to spend a spell to get rid of the field, we're okay with that. Okay, no third land. That's a little bit rough because we only have one red source. This could be Boros that just hasn't found a red source yet. Because the aggro, like the mono white aggro, doesn't usually play treasure map. Alright, I guess we're passing and then playing Lightning Strike. I mean, we've got so much burn in our hand now, it's just we need some lands to be able to play stuff. They could conceivably have a pump spell. It's possible. But they didn't, which is nice. So at this point, I think we attack with the Lava Runner. Heroic reinforcements might come out. Okay, so they attacked, which is interesting, right? We might not block here. You know what we're gonna do? We're gonna shock it. They pay 4 life. We're not gonna block. So I feel like they have a pump spell. I don't want to risk it. We're still at 20 life, so I think we're okay going to 17. Okay, that's good, because they would have Direfleet Daredeviled out my electrostatic field, but now they can't. They can't deal enough damage to take it out. Okay, still no third land. Do I just lightning strike their face? This is tricky because they have so much card advantage against us now. Even though we have a full group of cards. If they put this on the Vanguard, we're going to shock the Vanguard. Benelish Marshal. Fine. So no blocks. The Vanguard is 4-2 now. So we got another mountain. In the short term, that doesn't really help us. I think we have the Wizards Lightning their Benelish Marshal next turn. We could Wizards Lightning their Vanguard. It depends on what happens with the Aurelia. Okay, we can't allow the Mentor to go through, I don't think. Or do we let the Mentor go through, ping the Vanguard? I'm not sure. I think we have to do the Marshal. I think we lose this. I don't think we needed that third land quicker. No blocks. I think we should have blocked with the Vanguard, because now they can kill us with Aurelia next turn no matter what. I should have realized that. I mean, I think we were at a disadvantage anyway. Especially if they had a Direfleet Daredevil. They just Wizards Lightning us. Yeah, we just lose at this point. Alright, I think that's it for this round of games. We progressed a little bit in silver, so hopefully we have better luck next time. Otherwise, I might have to switch decks and just play something that can climb a little bit more consistently.